Hey, what is up, Squadron? Today I'm going to teach you how to code. So this will be a 3-part series. First video, this one, I'm going to teach you about HTML as well as getting your environment set up. Second video is about CSS, which is making your website look nice. And third video is JavaScript, which actually makes your website do stuff. So basically the end goal is for you to understand how a basic website works from the ground up. We're going to be coding every single line of it, and I'm going to show you how you do that from step 1. Well, actually step 0, because most programming languages actually start with the number 0 instead of 1. So there you go, you already learned something. Please like and subscribe, that really helps the channel, and also make sure you watch out for these upcoming videos about the topics I just mentioned. Okay, so you may notice this is kind of funny looking. Basically, I'm using a Mac to film this video, but I have logged into a Windows computer online. It's something called a virtual machine. Now, you don't need to do any of that to get started. Basically, I just wanted to show you with the world's most common OS for desktops what you can do. And so we're just going to use Windows, but this works with Mac as well as Linux. Step 1 is let's make a GitHub repository. So GitHub is a really useful tool for programming because it essentially allows you to save and upload your code, your progress to the cloud. In this case, the cloud is GitHub. So here I am. As you can tell, this is a completely new computer. Like, I have never even logged into it before this video. So you can literally start from 0. This requires 0 programming experience beforehand. Okay, let me just skip past these. Okay, so GitHub, let's just go there really quick. All right, github.com. So GitHub is a really popular tool, like I already mentioned. I will just sign in with my current GitHub username, and I will link the GitHub repo in the description below for you guys to also download and follow along if you want to. Okay, so this is my GitHub page. You can follow me if you'd like. There's my GitHub username. Basically, I'm going to let's see. I actually already have a GitHub repository for this channel. As you can see, there's this posts folder in there and then like a couple other things. So we're going to use this one, and I'm just going to add a new folder, and everything we do today I will put in that new folder. So here's how you get started. Basically, this I will link in the description, but you want to download this GitHub repository. And the way you can do that is just a couple different ways. One is SSH, which stands for Secure Shell. This uses like RSA encryption to make sure that you are who you say you are when you download things from the internet. It uses a lot of math. It really comes down to prime numbers. You don't need to know all that, but it's a pretty secure way. HTTPS, that stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure or something. The S is like secure, which is also a very secure way of doing this. I prefer SSH, but I think for simplicity's sake, we'll go with HTTPS. So let's copy that. Okay, so now the question is like, all right, how do I download this? Well, you could download this as a zip file and then just like extract the zip file. Let's just do that for the demo's sake. So like, okay, there it is. It's downloading. I can open that up. Go to my downloads. It's taking a little bit. I'll cut to that in the video. Okay, there it is. So basically, I mean, you can just right click this, extract, all, extract, and there you go. We have our repository on our computer. However, it's just a copy. And let's say I make changes to this, on my computer, and then I want to go save it, right? I want to go make sure I don't lose my progress. Well, the way we just did this, where we downloaded the zip and then extracted it, that won't really help me because it's not tied to GitHub. It's really just a zip file that we downloaded. So if we want to use GitHub the right way, I'll say, we need to clone this repository, which means that basically In addition to downloading it, we have Git keep track of all the changes that happen to this repository for us while we develop. And then before we sign off today or something, we'll say, hey, Git, save my work so that in case I lose my computer or something crazy happens, like at least it's somewhere that I can download again. So yeah, we're going to use GitHub to do this. So this is literally the number one thing I wish I had learned in college to begin with when using like GitHub and developing, because you're going to use this in your day job all the time if you're a software engineer. So basically, we need to install Git for Windows. Okay, so let's download Windows. So yeah, you'll come to this page. Usually it's just like the very first link. They sometimes like adapt the page depending on what kind of computer you are on. So for us, it's Windows. Click here to download. We'll use this. All right. It's downloading an executable, which will install software called Git on our computer. So we'll open that up. Okay, just click next, next. This is all fine. I mean, the default's usually fine. We'll just, keep clicking next. I won't explain exactly everything that you're doing in this part, but subscribe for later videos, because basically, like a lot of different computer science topics I'll be going over, and Git is actually one of them. So for now, we're just going to use it as a tool, but yeah. Okay, so now we've installed Git, so we're done there. It opens up a page. Okay, so now, like, how do we use Git? We just installed it. So like now, whoops, you sure exit setup? Yes. Oh, I just clicked it like a bunch of times. Okay, so now we've installed Git, but like, where is it? Well, if I go to search and I type in Git, I mean, there's this thing. It's called Git Bash, and okay, it's like a little black screen. This is called a terminal. So a terminal is where you do a lot of computer stuff. It's like a developer's best friend, basically, because in addition to, using these GUI or graphic user interface, like this file system, file explorer, or whatever, you can do everything and then some by using this little black screen called the terminal. So one quick thing to do is, ls, which means list. So list what's in this current directory, and you'll see just kind of all these things. Oh, music, desktop, documents, or whatever. So let's go to documents. And so the way we do that, either we could go in here and go to like documents and click the button, and that's pretty user friendly. I'll admit that's nice. Although it's easier to get used to the terminal from the start than it is to kind of go back and forth. So I would just suggest that you start to get comfortable with the terminal, because that's something you use all the time for programming. So let's change directories into documents. And the way you do that is this command, cd, meaning change directories. And you can start to type documents and just tab to complete it and hit enter. Okay, so now you may have noticed this little yellow thingy. We're now in documents. So the original reason we even opened this up was we wanted to use Git. Well, okay, so how do we use Git? So just type in Git really quick, Git, and hit enter. And you'll see just a bunch of text pop up. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So this text is basically Git telling you, hey, this is how you use Git. And you're going to have to become very familiar with this kind of like nomenclature, because when you develop, you're going to use the terminal all the time, and you're going to need to know commands all the time. So like, it's very common to just go to your terminal and type the command you want to know about, and maybe sometimes -- help or like question mark, and depends, but essentially you'll be presented with this screen of all the information that you need to know about the command. So one of the commands we're interested in, it's like a sub command of Git, is clone. It says clone a repository into a new directory. Okay, so let's do that. Git clone. Let's just hit enter, see what happens. Okay, it says, hey, it didn't work. Here's all the things you can do about cloning. You must specify a repository to clone. Well, if we go to our repository window here, let's see, and just click this code thing, clone. This little URL is what we need. So let's go back. Git clone and then we paste it in here. Okay, so git cloning into the repository. Okay, awesome. So it says it's done. So now what? Let's see what's in here now. Now do ls, like list what things are in this documents folder. We see there's a new folder, Coolster Codes. So now let's go into that folder. Try and take a guess at what command we do to do that. You're right. If you said change directory cd into Coolster Codes, you can command tab or just tab to autocomplete. Go into Coolster Codes. Awesome. So yeah, now you'll notice there's this little final word here, main, and that is a Git term, because with Git, it's like a tree system, kind of like you have the main branch is what it's called. So you're going to be using branches. So you have the main one, which is like the source of truth. Mainly it's like, hey, this is our, latest and greatest code and the ones that we want people to use and etc. But let's say while you're building something new, you can make a new branch. Like you want to keep your main branch safe, but you want to also be developing something new on the side, maybe for future release or whatever. So you make a new branch to then continue to make your development. I'll explain this better hopefully when I make a video about GitHub, but let me just show you how this works. So like the git command again, to make a new branch, we say checkout, and then we do a -b, which just means branch, or I guess like make a new branch if it doesn't exist. And then we're going to need a new branch name. So we'll call this one like HTML demo or something like that. It can be whatever. Hit enter. Hey, it says switch to a new branch, HTML demo. Okay, awesome. So now, let me see what's in this folder, right? Let me look. Okay, there's that posts folder that we saw from before in the website view. So now I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call it, we'll call it like HTML, I guess. Well, no, it will be a 3-part series that we make a website. So we'll just call this folder like website. I know, super creative. So we'll just call this website. And the command to make a folder is mkdir, make directory. So yeah, directory is kind of the computer science-y term for folders. But anyways, make directory. Okay, now let's look in what's in here. Awesome, there's a website folder now. All right, so let's change directories into that folder. And I would really suggest practicing this, like ls, cd, make directory, all these little things. It'll become second nature to you as you develop more, but they're really handy tools to like get started with. So, okay, let's change directory into the website. Awesome. So now what's in here? Nothing, right? Because we just created it and it's empty to begin with. So let's make something here. Let's make an HTML file. So what I'm going to do is, I guess in this one, it might be touch. We'll see. So in Linux, it's touch, but I'm not sure about Windows. So let's see, touch, and we'll just call it a special name, index.html. So HTML files are just like any other file on your computer. Basically, like if you've used Word or PowerPoint, you save your file, you save your progress to a file. Usually it's like my Word doc or something, or PowerPoint's like .pptx. I mean, those are all just fancy terms and like fancy keywords that, for example, Microsoft Word will know, oh, hey, this is a Word doc. I'm going to do XYZ thing when it opens. I'm going to make it look nice. I'm going to do all the extra stuff. For HTML, it's the same way. So we can make an HTML file like this through this black screen, the terminal. And then when we open that file, our computer will know what to do with it based on the type, on its file type, .html. So let's just see if this works. Hey, I think it worked. Let's look inside. Hey, look, there's a there's a file, index.html. So let's say now, like, I want to open it, like, look inside this file, what's in it. Okay, well, one way is, we can go to the folder file explorer, go to the folder website, and look, do you notice how it has a little, like, Edge icon next to it. I mean, Edge is like the default web browser installed on Windows computers. So essentially what the Windows operating system is trying to tell you is that, hey, this is like a web page file. If you open it, I'm going to open it using Edge, which is your default web browser. So let's open it. Let's just double click it. All right, it's blank, right? There's nothing in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put something in here. All right, so let's close this. Let's go back to our terminal. So let's just look at this file and let's try and like edit the file, meaning write something on it. It's like in a Word doc. Like when you open a Word doc, it's empty to begin with, but then you want to start writing your essay, your 1,000-word essay that you've left off till the very last minute, midnight, the day before it's due. So let's open this file. Not that I've done that before. We can do something from here, actually. We can just say notepad index.html. So essentially, I'm giving a command here, notepad, which is a program already installed on most Windows machines. And then I'm going to give the file I want to open by notepad. So if I click this, boom, we get, did you see how that just happened randomly? So like, let me exit this. You can do that same thing through your file explorer. You just have to right click. So if you right click on this file and say open with, and you say choose another app, there's Notepad. Do you see how many clicks I had to do though? I know it's like some people hyper analyze when you're computer programming, like the efficiency of a terminal versus the GUI. And I mean, it is faster to be honest, but like, also the GUI works fine. So, I mean, it's just kind of your preference. Hardcore, like programmers would only use the terminal ever. They don't touch their mouse and etc. But you can do either one. So let's open Notepad and leave your comments below on funny jokes about computer programmers in their terminals. So index, right? It's the same thing as if I just exited out here. Let's rerun our command. You just press up on the keyboard and it will go to the most recent command. You just click enter. Oh, boom, there it is again. All right, so that's how you can start to edit things very basically. So let's just put up a title to our web page, right? Let's just say, hello world. That's like the typical computer programming beginning sentence that you write. So let's just Control S to save that. Sorry, I'm using different keyboard. Okay, Control S, exit that. And now let's go back to our file explorer and let's just double click on this file. It's going to do the same thing as before, but you'll see something there, hello world. And it's like, oh, sweet, you know, I made some code. Like you just wrote some code. So code is essentially just instructions for your computer, and you can do it from the beginning. You can do it from basically anything. Like it doesn't need to be fancy. And so this is just the beginning, guys. Like in the end of this series, what I want to do is basically get you up to this like level here. So if you open up your web browser, you go to paulj.pro. That's my own personal website where I've made things about my, history and projects that I've done. Essentially what you see here on the screen of my website is done doing this. Like it just takes a little time. It just takes a little hand holding, a little guidance. But honestly, it's not that complicated. And I'm excited to teach you how to program this whole thing. So please like and subscribe. Look out for that next video, and thank you for watching.